Every year at the Summerfest, one person or couple would be inducted into the Vegetarian Hall of Fame as a way to honor those who have made significant contributions to the advancement of veganism. That first year, the recipients were the founders of the American Vegan Society, Jay and Freya Dinshaw, the couple who first brought the concept of veganism to this country. And I heard a little woo, so let's go ahead and give them a cheer. And since that time, the NAV's board has inducted nearly 30 people into the Vegetarian Hall of Fame, all of them full-time activists with national or international recognition and whose work has affected a very large number of people. One of the things that makes the award ceremony so special is that the name of the winner is kept a secret until the ceremony. So, someone in the audience will be receiving this award tonight, and it will be a surprise. And this person might even be sitting right next to you. So take a look at the person next to you and go, maybe you're going to get the award tonight. Before we begin, let's take a moment to honor our past inductees. And we will start with Jay and Freya Dinshaw, Helen and Scott Nearing, Michael Clapper, George Eisman. Let's give him a hand. Paul Obis, Mahatma Gandhi, Alex Hershaft, Muriel Gold, Patricia Lambert, Howard Lyman, Charles Stoller, Brian and Sharon Graff, Richard Schwartz, T. Colin Campbell, Brenda Davis, Joe Stepanek, Colleen Holland and Joe Connolly, Caldwell Esselstyn, Neil Barnard, Jenny Stein and James Levesque, and Ray Sikora, John Pierre, Hans Deal, and last year's inductee, Miyoko Schinner. Let's give all of them a hand. All of these people share something in common. They're activists, propelled by a passion from deep within. And their activism has helped create a better world for people, animals, and for the planet itself. But their work obviously comes in very, very different forms. It could be by teaching others how to eat for health and happiness. It could be by saving animals from lives of neglect and worse. It could be by educating people worldwide that a better life exists and that this life is attainable. And it can also be by simply providing lots and lots of people with really, really good vegan food prepared with love and peace and serenity. You see, when we eat food that is beautiful and delicious and made in a manner that didn't take a ton of work to prepare, we not only infuse our bodies with nourishment, but we also feel a sensory satisfaction. And from a cognitive standpoint, it propels us to consider the possibility of eating this way more often, and perhaps even all the time. And that's what food activism is. Tonight's recipient of the award is more than an award-winning restaurateur and cookbook author, and he's so much more than the male equivalent to a vegan Rachel Ray, as Publishers Weekly calls him. He's a food activist, and we've all eaten his food. As a matter of fact, he's one of the reasons why we're here right now in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. It is my highest honor to announce the 2017 inductee into the Vegetarian Hall of Fame, Chef Mark Reinfeld. So Mark, take a seat because we got a really fun presentation for you. And then we're going to invite you up at the very end to say a few words. Mark was born in Queens, New York. And he grew up with his parents and two sisters on Long Island. He was a happy kid, he got good grades, he had lots of friends, and he even starred as Charlie Brown in his school play. Okay, my notes got a little bit distorted there at some point. There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. He was on what could be described as the straight path. He was going to become a lawyer, and this was something that his parents were very, very proud of. But he had 3 people in his life that would prove to become powerful influences in his ultimate career choice. His grandfather, who was an ice carver and a chef, his grandmother, who was a baker, and his Aunt Geraldine, who was known to be quite the rebel, evidently forging a path for Mark, who was already showing some signs of an activist's life. While Mark was in college, he took a philosophy class that totally expanded his mind and sparked a need in him to see the world. And to do so, by the way, without consciously taking any photos, which is why we're going to go through this next section, just visualizing it in our minds. Now, after college, Mark did go to law school, but after his first year, he took a semester abroad and he started traveling. And that's when his revelations really started to roll in. He was in Berlin when the wall came down. He went to Nepal and stood in awe of the natural beauty. He was in Prague during its revolution, and he became very highly attuned to human rights. And during this time, Mark lived on a kibbutz in Israel, where he had to take care of chickens that were being raised for food, and he was astounded at that the horrible practices he was expected to partake in were considered absolutely normal on the farm. And at the same time, he was touched deeply in his heart and in his soul by cows that spent time with him in the fields. Mark returned to law school, dreadlocks and all, but it didn't last. He took off a year to travel in India, and while he was there, he decided that law school just wasn't for him. Instead, he immersed himself in yoga and meditation and spiritual development while traveling the world with his backpack and shifting to vegetarianism and then veganism. And he became involved with animal activism. Here's a flyer from one of his several-day veal crate fasts, where he spent 3 days sitting in a crate in front of the USDA, and ultimately he made a commitment to himself to spend the rest of his life working for animals. So, after working his way up from dishwasher to chef at a large natural food store in California, he knew in his heart that food would be his life's work. If he could cook food for other people that tasted good not using animals, then it would inspire these people to eat food that doesn't contain animals, even when he wasn't around to prepare it. And so his food activism was born. He settled into the Hawaiian island of Kauai, bonded with a group of other vegans, and opened a vegan restaurant called Blossoming Lotus. By the way, a little side note here, Mark was in a deeply spiritual place during this time, and he had taken a vow of silence, something he had done before, and he actually opened the restaurant during this vow of silence. And Mark, I honor that totally, but I really hope you're not planning to do that at the Summerfest. I don't think that's going to go over very well. In any case, Blossoming Lotus became a mecca of food and music and culture. Artists came, musicians came, celebrities, tourists, all for the outstanding food and for the entire aura of the place. And the restaurant won Best Restaurant of Maui. And 7 years later, Mark closed the restaurant and wrote a cookbook called Vegan Fusion based on the restaurant's menu. This book is a celebration of international gourmet vegan cuisine, and it showcases the simplicity of a vibrant, healthy lifestyle. It's a cookbook, but it's also an artistic treasure with stunning photography of food and of sacred places around the world. And Jane Goodall wrote the foreword. Vegan Fusion went on to win Gourmand International's Best in the World, a Nautilus Book Award for Books for a Better World, Cookbook of the Year by Veg News, and a Pita Pragi Award. From there, Mark created Vegan Fusion Academy, which is a vegan cooking school that holds courses all over the world. The courses range from a couple of days to about a week and a half, and they vary in their focus, from basic vegan cooking to raw food fundamentals to professional chef training to actual teacher training, where students learn how to train others to become vegan chefs. The classes take place in professional kitchens and private homes and everything in between. They include immersion into the culture, which means finding out how the food is grown, purchasing it at the farmers markets, and sometimes even picking the food directly from the land. It also includes learning directly from the locals about the cooking techniques that are unique to their culture. The classes include meaningful quality time with these people to better understand their culture, including the non-human animals that live there. And in the classes, Mark teaches about the connection between the animals and the earth and the way that we live our lives. He teaches his students how to have peace in the kitchen. He has music, they sing. He teaches how to create a calm, peaceful environment because that energy goes into the food, and the ultimate goal is for people who eat that food to experience that energy of compassion as a catalyst for meaningful life change. Some of Mark's students are mainstream restaurant chefs that want to add vegan dishes to their menus. And some of them are wellness professionals who want to add high-quality vegan food prep to their repertoire. Some are people who aspire to become professional chefs and would rather become certified by Mark than by anyone else. And many of his students are ethical vegans who have absolutely no professional cooking experience whatsoever, but want to open vegan restaurants as their own form of food activism. Such as this student who went on to open a vegan restaurant called Mana Life Food. And these two students from Argentina, pictured here in their Miami-based vegan restaurant called Holy Vegan Kitchen. And this student who went on to open the Vegan Hell Veg Cafe in Switzerland. And these students at their vegan restaurant in Amsterdam. And these students at their restaurant in Miami called Full Bloom. Again, all of these people are ethical vegans who had no experience with food preparation, but turned to Mark for help in manifesting their vegan dream. Vast numbers of other people receive their training through Vegan Fusion Academy as well, such as vegan wellness bloggers and wellness coaches and people who complete the teacher training program and go on to spread that knowledge, such as this graduate who now teaches people how to become vegan chefs in Wisconsin. And many of tomorrow's activists, such as this middle school student who turned to Mark for help in learning how to make veggie burgers at her school. Throughout all of this, Mark has also been teaching vegan cooking at medical schools, large catering companies, university food services, restaurants, and other businesses. Businesses such as this very large IT fraud prevention company in the UK that offers healthy meals delivered to the employees' desks. Can you imagine working somewhere where you could get food delivered to your desk by a chef trained by Mark Reinfeld? It would be like eating at the Summerfest every day. And this upscale conference center, also in the UK, that decided to add phenomenal vegan menu items to its list of offerings. And he's been busy writing. Remember Vegan Fusion, his first book? Well, after that, he wrote The 30-Minute Vegan and its follow-ups, Taste of the East, Taste of Europe, and Soups On. And then came The Complete Idiot's Guide to Eating Raw and Healing the Vegan Way, which is just as much a health book as it is a cookbook, and it ended up winning Philadelphia Inquirer's #1 book for vegans. Also, he was involved with 3 more idiot guides from his Vegan Fusion partners: juice fasting, green smoothies, and low-fat vegan cooking. And during all of this writing and teaching, Mark's brought his food activism to other outlets as well, such as consulting chef at the Holistic Holiday at Sea, where he also teaches vegan cooking and presents on food activism. He's one of the selected chefs at Seed Miami, a high-end food and wine celebration. And he was filmed by Jamie Oliver's production crew for the pilot of a cooking show. And here he is at a winery in California where he prepared a big vegan dinner, and at this 5-star hotel where he prepared an Earth Day celebration dinner for a sold-out crowd and gave a presentation on the link between diet and the environment. And he wrote the recipes for Sarah Taylor's Vegetarian to Vegan, and of course won Recipe of the Year for Vegan.com, and has guested on TV shows, and here he is being interviewed on film for the documentary Eating You Alive. And he landed a spot in Thrive Magazine's feature on today's top vegan chefs. Also, Mark provided vegan recipes for the Atkins website, a project that he didn't immediately accept until weighing the pros and cons and deciding that the pros outweighed the cons when it came to reaching out to a population that wouldn't otherwise be exposed to good vegan food. Before taking this job, he had only worked with vegan businesses, so it was a first. But this project ended up leading him to consult for a vegetarian restaurant in England that has started to veganize its menu, and consulting for Deliver Lean, a dinner delivery company. And here he is speaking at PPOD, which is the highest quality professional conference where experts in medicine and nutrition and behavior change come together to share evidence on the best practices to prevent disease. By the way, for those of you unfamiliar with PPOD, it stands for the nonprofit organization called Plant-Based Prevention of Disease. And all this time, he's been busy tabling at events all over the country. And along the way, Mark received a Platinum Carrot Award for America's top innovative and trailblazing healthy chefs, and he completed a graduate-level nutrition course with a thesis on raw foods during his free time between the hours of 3 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. Just kidding. All right, so let's take a sidebar moment here. Back in 2012, Mark met Ashley Boudet, a smart and radiant woman with a passion for health and travel. She had just earned her naturopathic doctorate degree, and she was planning to set up a traveling practice, seeing clients in several states. Mark and Ashley became friends and then partners, and here they are on their wedding day. Now, I was curious about what a renowned vegan chef and an up-and-coming vegan naturopathic doctor would serve on their wedding day, so here are just a few of the highlights. Spring melon and watercress soup, polenta bar with toppings including mushrooms and caponata and shaved roasted Brussels sprouts, General Tao cauliflower, spanakopita, Japanese-style tempura vegetables, and roasted corn tamales with chili verde, a true world vegan fusion. And here they are with their baby Sage. I'm sure he's actually down here, like, enjoying family time right now. Now, Mark and Ashley have since created The Doctor and the Chef, which is a traveling school that combines their expertise. And they're also working together on a book on healthy aging and brain health. Here's one of the amazing things about Mark and his food. He can go from the most gourmet, artistic, elegant, absolutely exquisite raw entree to the most serious of cooked comfort food imaginable. Yes, matzo ball soup is pretty much at the top of my list when it comes to that, and so yeah, he's got a really wide range of skill. But his dishes all share certain elements, and those elements are beauty, simplicity, and preparation with love. When food is cooked in that manner, people not only taste with their taste buds, but also with their hearts and their souls on a very deep level. And when people like the way their vegan food tastes, and they like the way that they feel when they eat the vegan food, they're going to want to eat more of it. And they will eventually start making it for themselves, or perhaps they'll even learn how to make it for the masses, or perhaps they will teach others how to make it for the masses. And that's the power of food activism. Oh, and there's one other thing I almost forgot. Mark is the head chef for the Vegetarian Summerfest. We eat well when we're here, and we feel good when we're here. Yes, how could I forget to mention that? In all seriousness, cooking here is a really big deal. I know that it takes an enormous amount of time and organization. And Ashley told me that of all of Mark's accomplishments, overseeing the meals here at the Summerfest is actually something that he's most proud of. And to me, that's saying a lot, given his awards and his books and his students spreading his message all over the world. So, to conclude, Mark is an award-winning chef, but his teachings encompass so much more, like compassion and exuberance for life and health and compassion for animals. He invites his students to bask in nature and to have fun in the kitchen and to connect with people on a deep level all over the world. He's about appreciating beauty in the simple things in life and feeling and expressing joy together as a group over scrumptious, beautiful, deliciously satisfying food. In the introduction to Vegan World Fusion, Mark shares a quote by Albert Einstein. Many of you already know this one, but let's revisit it, this time with Mark's life work in mind. It reads, "Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures, and the whole world of nature and its beauty. Nothing will benefit human health and increase chances of survival for life on Earth as much as the evolution to a vegetarian diet. This quote embodies Mark's food activism, and he carries out his life's work with contagious joy. Chef Mark, please come on up to the podium.
Thank you, guys.
So, Chef Mark, on behalf of the board of the North American Vegetarian Society, we honor you and all the work that you do. You have made this world a better place, and I know that you're continuing to do that. So on behalf of the organization, this is for you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
And you can take a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It's really an honor to be here and really grateful to be here tonight. I now know the plural of fish is fishes, so I'm going to take that away. Thanks, John, for that. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful for this, and it is, Ray mentioned something earlier when she was the recipient of this, that it really is a collective effort, and we're all playing our part, and I really do like to emphasize this idea of food activism to people. When you leave here, there's really amazing energy and information about why we should embrace a plant-based lifestyle, and I truly feel that having the food taste good is a way that can make people really embrace the lifestyle. So you could have as much intellectual information about why it's important, but having the food taste good, I think, is a real service. And so I encourage people to take part of the presentations here on learning how to cook. And as many of you know how satisfying it is if you feed a person, you get a good sense of satisfaction when it's a healthy meal. And if you share with that person how to prepare the food themselves, it's another level. So I encourage you to share with people how to prepare the food. And you might have heard that saying that if you give a person a block of tofu, you could feed them for a day, but if you show them how to bake the tofu, you could feed them for a lifetime. So there's some variation about fish that I think the tofu one came first for that. So thank you. It's really an honor, and this is such an amazing event, and I'm grateful and honored to be part of the team that's preparing the food. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Thanks.